Good day, gents. So today we're going to be making an example of this solid geometry question. I'm going to read it for you. The auxiliary view and top views of regular hexagonal prism pierced by a through square hole. Instructions: redraw the given views and project the following. Sectional front view, and they would like to have the true shape of both solids. So this is obviously an edited version, and when they say the true shape of both solids, they mean the fact that there's obviously a hole through this main solid. Therefore this will have a true shape, the outside hexagonal base, and therefore the inside will also be a true shape, yet it will be treated as a hole. So I'm going to start off with drawing the auxiliary view first so that I can get to my original view. And in this case here, I've already started. You'll notice that I've got my 36 millimeter base edge down, and I've started constructing by simply drawing with a circle. I could use my 60-degree set square, and so I've gone ahead and joined my construction points already over here, and I'm going to use my 60-degree set square to confirm these points. And I'm going to keep them in construction. Now I'm drawing with a red pen in this case over here, which is just lightly, just to indicate that which is going to be used. Alright, and then I also could put my set square to the actual question. You'll see over here that it is actually at a 30-degree angle. So I'm going to be using it because the question doesn't actually state that it is at 30 degrees, but I'm going to start projecting off at 30 degrees. The question also doesn't state the height of it, so there's obviously a little bit of an omission of information. I'm going to just make it 70 millimeters. I'll pop the 70 in over here. Alright, and also remember that if you don't have information like this, they might have placed it in the actual question above, which they haven't in this case. Alright, so now from here I'm going to make about a 10 mil difference. At 60 degrees I'm going to separate these shapes, and I'm going to go ahead and draw my view. I'm going to measure off my 70 mils. This is obviously going to go a little faster because these are given views. And I've got to be careful because if I look at my cutting plane over here, they're literally going to be cutting at 60 degrees as well. Okay, so make sure that you got your T-square nicely lined up so you get that accurate 60-degree cut. But I'm not going to be focusing on that too much. It might not be completely 60 degrees because here I see they've actually added a 10 millimeter point. So if I go 10 millimeters in, I'll have my first cut point. And then it's going to go through the bottom corner over here, the bottom corner. So I'm going to make sure that that happens. And that I can only do once I've got the auxiliary view properly drawn. So I'm going to go ahead and go and do that right now. I'm going to find the center, which was easily done with the construction of the pentagon. Simply join my diagonals if I have to, and I'm going to use my 45-degree line, but now I have 36 as a base edge, okay, on that question over there. So I'm going to just slide this across again for you. There's your 36 millimeters over here. So what is the distance from the center to that point over here? Well, I know that if this is 36, I'll be able to divide it into two, which is 18 and 18 from midway. Okay, and if I had to go through the middle 45 degrees, I'd simply be able to go and measure off the 18 in either way. Stipulate my 18 on this side here, and I'll go and measure my 18 on this side here, and I'll go construct a 45 degree line and a 45 degree line there, and then I'm going to go take the 18 from here and another 18 from the middle outward, and I'll take my 45 degree line and join them. Now you'll find that they would join nicely on that center line. Okay, and I need this to obviously project back into my necessary view. Okay, and we're going to project at 30 degrees each one of these, and they said that this shape is going to cut 10 mils in, and it's going to cut through this point over here, so not necessarily 60 degrees. Now there's my cut line, VT, or sorry, an HT, because it is a horizontal trace, because this drawing is done in the horizontal plane, which gives me my top view. I'm going to take my 10 mils away, construct my XY axis, and if I want to cut off a little bit of time, I'm going to go ahead and project that which I will see. I know that there's a cut line here, or cut point rather. I like to distinguish between cut points and base points. Okay, and then I've got to realize, but hang on, I've got a couple of hidden detail lines that need to be drawn, because I'm also going to be cutting through a hole. So this is obviously a hidden detail line. Like so. I was very quickly going to get these done. Try and stay as consistent as possible when it comes to your hidden detail lines. Alright, and then obviously I have solid lines here for my hexagonal prism, like so. Right, now I'm going to focus on my cut points over here. I've got a cut point, another cut point, because my cutting plane is going through this object. A whole lot of cutting points over here, and this is where the intricacy starts. This is where I like to start numbering my drawing. So I'm going to start here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 has got a top and a bottom. 1 and 5 has got a top and a bottom. 2 and 4 has got a top and a bottom, and 3 has got a top and a bottom. Okay, that's very necessary. You'll see that I haven't started numbering or lettering the inside, because I'm just going to be focusing on the hexagonal prism for now, and I'd like to go and project all the information that I have, knowing that I'm going to be cutting this front portion off. So I'm going to be seeing that. I'm going to be looking into there, looking at a cut surface over here, and imagine that we're also going to be seeing the actual base, or the portion that's left over of the base. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to project all my cut points up. Let's give it a bit of length over there. All my cut points. Actually only wanted to focus on the cut points of the hexagonal prism, but I'm going to project them all up anyway, and then I'm going to focus on the base points. So the cut surface I need to find. So I've got 6 and 6 stays. it's get cut away. Therefore, I'm going to next focus on this point over here. I've got to realize that I'm cutting between 2 points, 1 and 6 and 1 and 5. If I want to, I could simply go take this information back onto my auxiliary view and note that this belongs to the whole. Okay, so watch out. But remember, when I'm cutting through this area over here, this here is cutting between 1 and 6 and 5 and 6. So between 5 and 6, it cuts through over here. And on the back end, it's cutting through over here between 1 and 6. So this just gives you a little bit of a representation as to where it's going to be cutting as well. Right? So I'll go ahead, I number each one of these points over here. So there I've got to realize that those are going to be my letters. I'm going to call it A and B. And if I go through this, I've got cut point 1 and 5. Then I'll have another cut point, which is the whole, cut point 2 and 4, which I'm going to focus on, another cut point, and another cut point, or 2 cut points over here between 3 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is on a base edge. Yet again, I can go and project this information back, and I'll be able to see that between 3 and 4, it'll cut over here, and between 2 and 3, it'll cut over here. So there I've got a bit of information as to what it's going to look like, where it's going to cut. Okay, now the whole idea here is I've got the information here, I've got the auxiliary view, and I've drawn it 10 millimeters away from this point over here on purpose so that I can make use of that as a reference point to each one of these heights, okay, as cut points and cut lines. Okay, so I'm going to, like I use the term, I need to be able to see the bread before I cut the bread. Okay, so I'm going to simply take this area here as being the bread, and I'm going to make sure that I can simply plot the heights. I've got the necessary widths, I just need to measure off the heights. Over here I've got letters C and D, so we'll say that was C and D. Alright, and I'm going to use those heights now from my reference point, and that's going to be my reference point from which I'm going to be measuring. So I'm going to go from the reference point to C, and C from my reference line, and I mark off and I label it C. I've got the same scenario here. Okay, I label these A and B. I'm going to call this one B and this one A. So on this line over here, I'm going to just reduce this slightly to B. When I projected that up from there, I projected, and now I found B. On that same line over there, I'm going to extend it slightly to A. Along the same line, I'm going to mark it off and find A. So this is just a measure and plot. If I'm projecting off of this view, I'm measuring off of this view. So there's always one view behind, I'm measuring it off. Okay, so I've got C, my reference plane, I'm going to make use of D. D is on my reference plane, labeled over there. Okay, so now I've got these two, and I've got the other side, these two. Alright, we know that when we cut through there, they're going to join one another. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and simply join them. Because the more I draw, the more I'm feeding my brain with some images. I can actually see what this thing's going to look like. Right, my next ones are going to be 1 and 5. So from 1 and 5, cut point 1 and 5, I projected it up. Okay, and I'm going to go measure from there to cut point 1 and 5. Notice that I have a little distance over here that stays behind. Okay, but the heights don't change. Okay, so I've got to still happen to measure off of the actual heights. So number 1, okay, from 1 and 5, notice what I've done over here. I've measured from the reference line to the height of 1, and I pick it up and I go to where number 1 and 5's cut point is, because I'm doing number 1 now, and I follow it all the way to my reference line, and I mark off number 1. Please be sure to pause and retake that if you haven't seen it in the video. But I'm going to be doing this over and over again. Just notice I'm on the reference line again, which I've made 10 millimeters away. So therefore, my front view will be 10 millimeters higher than the ground or the horizontal plane. Here's number 5. I pick it up. I go along number 5's line, and I go mark it off. Number 5 and number 1 done. Remember, I'm only focusing on the cut surface, so I'm finding all the cut points first. Very strategic. Now I'm going to go to the next one. It's 2 and 4. Remember, I'm focusing on the hexagonal prism. Okay, so 2 and 4 is the next one. I'll go to the reference. Notice that 2 and 4, there it is over there. I'll have 4 at the same height. There it is over there. 4 at the same height. And also at the same height as 1, coming across will be 2, just like 1 on their wall. So I'm simply going to use my T-square and I'm going to project it right across. I know those are going to be there. So there's 2. I project that on up. There it is now, number 2. Okay, and I know that they're going to be connected to one another. Or will they? 1 and 2 at the top definitely will be. Okay, 1 to 2. And obviously I'm looking from either this direction. So here we go, number 1 to 2 will be connected. And they will be connected down to their cutting points as well. So you'll notice there it goes from 2 down to C, C to D, D back down to 4, 4 all the way to 5, 5 to B, B to A to 1, 1 back to 2. Right, so you'll have a slightly shorter line here and here, a slightly longer line here and here, and that is the cut surface. So notice that I've got the cut surface, but now look at what happens over here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cut points to give me my cut surface of the hexagonal based prism. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's another way of checking it. Alright, remember I haven't placed the square hole in the inside here yet. Okay, so those are the ones that are in hidden detail over here. Again, we haven't numbered them, we haven't lettered them. We'll approach that when the time's right. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead on my front view. And I've got the necessary heights for everything. So I'm going to project this information across. I'm basically using it as an auxiliary view. Okay, 1 and 2, 4 and 5. Okay, however, I don't have 6 in here. I need to obviously use 6 because 6 has been cut off. Okay, so if I could find 6, I'd project that across as well. So 6 was over here. That's the portion that's been cut off. Remember, 6 followed up. I'm going to take 6 over here. Oopsie. Open up to 6. I'm going to use it for my XY axis. This would have been 6, but it got cut off. And I'm going to project that across as well, because so I know where that middle line will be, because 3 and 6 will be at the same height. Okay, we'll show you why in a moment. There it is there. 6 and 3 will be at the same height. Okay, so I'm going to go 6/3 on this one. Right, now that I've got that information, I'm going to project this information up as well. So I'm going to go from 1 and 5, base point 1 and 5. Let's extend that slightly. Base point 1 and 5 will be found over here. These are the uncut versions. Okay, so you can see here everything that is cut away. What do I have left? Okay, I've got A and B, point A and B. There it is, A and B. and then I also have 1 and 5 right behind it. Behind that I've got 2 and 4, and then I've got 3. So this here, when I look from this angle over here, I can see the base. Okay, that's either the front base. I'm going to call the front and the back base. So the front base over here, I can see. So I'm going to go with 5 over here. Number 1. Project 2 and 4 up. That's the next one. Got 2 going across at the height and 4 going across. Okay, so 4, 5. Okay, good. I would have had 6, but 6 is cut off. 1, 2. I need 3 here somehow. So there we go. 3 and 3 meet up over here. So if you think about it, my shape must fit between these points over here. Okay, the cut surface over here and the last point, the widest point on my top view when that is cut away. Right, so now that I've found the points, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go join them so that it makes a little bit more sense. The more I draw yet again, the more I find my brain is fed with information, and it starts making more and more sense for me as I go along. Right, now here, as I've mentioned when I started drawing, I've got 2 surfaces. I've got this surface from here to here that I'm seeing. That's the front base on this portion over here. Please notice I've only focused on this after I did the cut surface. So now I've got the cut surface. Now on this corner over here, AB, when I project it up, that's my corner over there. They split and they go in 2 different directions. So here I'm going in 2 different directions. This to the left is from here to the left, and then here from the right is from here to the right. That's this cut surface that's going to be hatched, and this portion over here is this front base portion that's left behind with 6 cut away, but does not get hatched because it's not a cut surface. Okay, it doesn't fall along my HT, my horizontal trace, which is in the horizontal plane. Alright, so we've managed to do or draw the actual view for it. Now, this front view needs my hole included as well as my my base. Alright, so here we go. My base, in this case over here, you might notice that I haven't drawn the entire bread and I've cut it. I've simply given myself the opportunity to project off of the existing drawing and measure away from it for the necessary points. I need to go and label these. So I came to 6. I'm going to go to 7, 8, 9, 10. So this point over here, it's top and bottom 10, 10, 9, 9, 7, 7, 8, 8. If this is your practice drawing, please change these colors for yourself. Make this one green or that one blue, and separate them so that it becomes a little bit more obvious for your sight, okay, and for your brain to read. Okay, so now I have these. I have cut point 8 falling between 8 and 8. Remember, I'm shortening 8 to that point there. 7 I'm shortening to over here, so cut point 7. 9 I'm shortening over here, I'm going to cut point 9, and then 10 is cut down right on the bottom there, so this is all going to disappear. I'll be able to see cut point 10, 9, 7, 8, okay, of this square hole. Yet again, I'm going to go project that information up to my front view. So here we go, my cut points. 10 is already projected. 9 seems to be projected. 7 is projected. 8 is projected. Now that I have the widths to which they are separated, I need to go measure the heights of each. So I go to my base or my reference line again, and I open it up to 10. On 10 to my reference line again, measure off 10. Remember, that one was in line. So there's 10. I'm going to label it 10. Remember, that's cut point 10. Okay, it was on that base edge anyway, isn't it? Okay, so we've got to be careful here. Did I do the right thing? Because now I must remember that I'm not cutting on the base edge anymore. I'm focusing on the base surface, on the base itself. So that point 10 is on the base, not on the base edge anymore. Okay, so if it was on the base edge, I would have fallen between 1 and 6 somehow. But this is on the inside. It's on the base surface itself. Okay. Number 9. Now let's go for something a little bit further along because my compass is already that wide open. 7. I go to cut point 7. Label it over there as 7. Number 9. Go to my reference line. It's 10 millimeters away from my actual auxiliary view. Go to 9. Okay, cut point 9. Follow it on my reference line. Place number 9. So you can see that I'm doing this so many times. I'm doing the same thing over and over again for each number. Number 8 has got a heart over here. We'll cut point 8 on the reference line. And now I found point 8. Let's see if we've got all the cut points for the inside. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 cut points. I've got 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4 cut points that I can join. Now I found the cut points in the existing sectional surface. We're only focusing on the sectional surface for now. We're going to get onto the actual base surface in a moment. And then we've got to join them. Very interesting. Okay, here we go. So now I've collected all the cut points along here. It's all stipulated. I need to get all the actual base points on the left now, which will fit between these two lines of points. Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll project that information. So I've got 10 projected up. I want 9 projected up. I want 7 projected up. Because remember, this is the part that stays behind. And then I want 8 projected up, and 3 is already found. Again, I have the measurement 4. And if I want to, I've already got the measurements here. I can use this as my auxiliary view. So I've got 8 height away from the reference plane, 9 away from the reference, 10 height, 7's height away from the reference plane. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to project this information across. That makes my life a lot easier and also saves me a lot of time. I don't have to go and measure and plot again. Alright, so there we go. I've got 7's line, 10's line, 8's line, and 9's line. So all I need to do now is I need to go measure them up. So there's 8 and 8. I've got 7 and 7. I've got 9 and 9. And obviously we already found 10, which is on that point over there, and I'm going to go ahead and join those because there were only 4 of them. I've got to make a point of the fact that they said that I must cut through point 10. Okay, so here you can see I've cut through point 10 in my top view. There we go. Right, so now I can start my hatching. My hatching can go all around this area here because that's the cut surface, but not in this area here because I did not use that as a cut surface. However, that which stays behind, I also see that I've got 3 to 3 in the background, so that's automatically going to be hidden detail from there to there. Then I've got 8 to 8, I've got 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 7 and 7, 9 to 9, 1 and 5 to 1 and 5, and then on 10 it's cut. So I've got to go and make sure that I'm closing this here, because remember that's bottom to bottom, eh? Okay, so we're going to close this area here. Okay, because I've got to go 4 to 5, and I've got the top end 4 to 5 as well. And this little triangle over here, and that side there, remember I'm looking from the top, is this little triangle over here and the one at the bottom. Okay, so they must be closed and represented. Okay, now you'll notice that, that which I can see, I must still draw away. So this is going to be that inside corner, and then I'm going to have hidden detail between here and here, and those are basically going to be the only ones that I'm going to see. So I'm going to go join these by hidden detail. Remember, this is the section where you are going to be putting hidden detail through your cross hatching. So go and join all and focus only on the square hole over here from one side to the other. 10 and 10 are joined already, 9 and 9, 8 and 8 there between the both of them. Please remember to leave a little space over here because we don't want to extend this little line into this area here. You draw from here to here, that's what I see, and then beyond that is hidden detail, and from there to there is what I see again. Alright, now focused on my square hole. Now I want to go focus on that which is in existence on my hexagonal prism. 3 to 3. Got to have a hidden detail line over there. Let's make sure that we can project number 3 up first. Okay, so 3 I did not do just yet. There it is there. 3 will fall in the back end. That's behind the hole. So I'm going to go hidden detail all the way. Right, remember when I'm looking at it from this direction over here, I cannot see 3 to 3. Okay, it's behind this base over here. Alright, behind the base and also behind the cut surface. Okay, how about 2 and 4 and 2 and 4? Well, they're right at the top, so there they are already joined. And then I'll have 6 and 6, but 6 and 6 is cut away. Alright, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Go ahead and go and section my view from here to here. Remember, you're going to stop there, pick up pen or pencil there. All the sectioned surface, like so. Look at how I'm using the equal intervals between each one of these. It's just the length of these little lines in my 45-degree set square. A good use of them. A little skill that you can learn is you just tap on the outside line here so you don't actually go over it. So here I just give it a little there, a little nick on this side here, and I simply go from that point there to the end, just so that I know I'm not going to go over this little line, over that little line, and I join the two rather, like so. Right, so there are my front view and my top view. They asked for a sectional front view, so I've got my sectional front view. I'll label it as such. And now I know that this is going to be my XY axis. I can go ahead and draw that in dark. I'll give that my X, my Y, because I read from left to right. And if I want to go X1, Y1 for a side view, top to bottom, Y, because I read from top to bottom as well. Okay, then they ask for a true shape of section. So I'm going to move this across here a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys that I've already got the widths, or in this case the heights, because this is my front view. So this is the height, so all the heights I already have. So I'm going to use the grid method just to project this across, and this is going to go very quickly. So I'm going to project this across as such, all my cut points, that is. So I'm going to go ahead with all my cut points, and I've got to obviously know I'm going to focus on the actual the hexagonal prism first. So all the cut points of it I will project across first, and then that which is on the inside. Okay, so let's make sure we've got all the points. There's another one here. Okay, there. Okay, so this one here was A and B, so I'm going to just quickly label that so I can follow exactly what I'm doing. A, and the bottom one was B. Notice, don't waste any time in labeling. Do so, because you can always fall back on it and check your work. 1 and 2, that's the height for 1 and 2, and the height for 5 and 4. Okay, and obviously 6 is gone, so I don't need it. I'm going to now go ahead and get the horizontal, the length of it. Now please remember that I've got to use the length along my cut surface. So this is going to be the length I'm going to use. This is the height. Those heights are already projected across. Job done. I need the heights and the lengths to be able to find my true shape of section. So here we go. I'm going to go open up my compass to the entire length from one point where it cuts through the actual object through the other object. Okay, I'm going to place it over here. There where I started off at. So I'm going to swap this around. Okay, I'm going to plot it over here and over here. So that's the full length. I've got point A and B, which is also have 10 on it, and then I've got C and D on the other side. Label it. Okay, then I'm going to open up my compass from that point C and D, and I'm going to reduce it from C and D to find 1 and 5, from C and D to find 1 and 5, from C and D again, reduce it. I'm only focusing on the Hex Prism for now. Sorry, they go down all the way to 2 and 4. That's also C and D, 2 and 4, and I'll realize over here like such. Okay, and I'm going to project these heights up. Remember I said I'm going to do the grid method, so here this is the grid drawn. Okay, let's see if I've got all the ones. I've got C and D, I've got 2 and 4, I've got 1 and 5, and I've got A and B. 10 was obviously from the actual whole. So A and B, when they match up, so I've got A matching up with A, B matching up with B, and I've got 1 and 5, I've got 2 and 4, I've got C and C, and I've got D and D. Right, yet again I'm going to count. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same amount of cut points, so I've checked my work. Now let's go join them. Notice how elongated it seems now, but that is the true shape of section. Remember, each one of these lines are the true length lines of 2 to D, 1 to 2, 5 to 4, etc. If I'm joining all the true length lines, I'm bound to find the true shape. So there are other methods to be able to find the true shape, but this is definitely, I find, in my opinion, a far quicker method to do so. Like that, and like that. Right, now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go ahead on the cut surface. I'm going to focus on my hole. So I've got it over here, but now remember, these are only the distances or the widths away from one another. Okay, I've already got the heights for each, and I need to project them as well. So I'm going to go to 8. Right, so from C and D, I'm going to measure 8. Again, 7. Open up to number 9. And I'm going to open up to my last one, which is 10. I've already got 10, so I know exactly where 10 will be placed. It's the full length of the actual line. I'm going to go project these lines up. There's 8. Okay, so my first one was 8, then 7, then 9, and then 10, which is in line with A and B. Right, let's go take number 9 across. 9 and 9 found. Got 8 across. 8 and 8 found. I'm going to take number 10 across. And 10 met over here, and I'm going to take 7 across as well, and 7 with 7. Right, I've got the 4 cut points, and I'm going to go join them, and everything around them will get hatched. Now I've got the true shape of both my objects as stipulated in the question. Okay, and I've got to go and put the hatching in there and label my view as true shape of section. Watch out for the inside, because you're not cutting through anything on the inside. It's not a solid surface. Where the hole is, so be careful. And so you'll continue until you're done. And that one falls over. Right, so that's the grid method. The entire actual drawing, that's me explaining it to you and making sure that it falls within a 42-minute period. This will also have its own XY axis, please. So it is a different view, so you'll include it as an XY axis and you'll label it, in this case over here, X1, Y1. And if you had an XY axis for your auxiliary view, if you made it X1, Y1, this will naturally become X2, Y2. Right, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope this has assisted you. If there's anything that I've missed out, which I feel I have, in fact I have, I just want to quickly complete it. From 3, it goes to C and D. So I've forgotten about that. From 3, that's one more hidden detail that I have to go and include. Remember that this is the only section that you're going to be including hidden detail behind your cross hatching. Okay, those are the actual only ones that I've forgotten to draw. So there you have it. Thank you very much, guys.